I'm going to tell you a bit about this piece of work here, which is a very large monoprint that I made about 20 years ago. So going right, quite far back for me really. It's one of the things that I remember. It's a formative piece of work for me. So here I've got I've got an image of Rembrandt's Prodigal Son. The picture that I've done is not terribly much smaller than the actual painting. It is smaller, and of course the image is reverse. But that's I knew that was going to happen. That's fine. That's all part and parcel of the delight of doing it. Really, is creating something completely new. But I wanted to work on that painting. I'd come across it as when I was in my youth, having read Henry Nouwen's book, The Return of the Prodigal Son, where he explores the parable and in connection with Rembrandt's painting. So I may not have known Rembrandt's painting particularly well, but after reading that book I felt an enormous connection to it. And at this point in my life, 20 years ago, I think I was going through a really uncertain place and knowing who God was, but not knowing about that deep connection, that deep. And Rembrandt's work absolutely spoke to me beyond Henry Nouwen's his own depiction of it. It really came to life. I didn't quite know where the colours ought to go and so on, but I just drew into the image and ended up with quite an interesting version of Rembrandt's work. I tried to keep to the what I think is triangular formation of the father and the son. I was particularly interested in the hands and in the way that the father holds his son. The more, I think, as Nouwen says, the more fatherly hand and the more motherly hand. The elder son on the left-hand side, on the right-hand side in Rembrandt's painting. What was interesting, I find there's almost a sort of a force field of hand marks, of drawing marks. It wasn't intentional at all, but that seemed to separate him from the other two figures. It seems to work quite well, but it was a very important piece of work for me to do. It was the absolute palpable sense of love between the father and the returning son who was broken. And the notion, I think Nouwen, I haven't reread Nouwen's book, it's just stayed up here, so I might have completely wrong, but I had the sense that the father was broken too, or had been broken by that broken relationship. I think now that was God speaking to me. I was a bit of in a lost place at that time, I think, or a difficult place, shall we say, a very harsh place, I think, and not uncertain about who God was. Well, I think we're all uncertain about who God is, because how can we know? More things in heaven and earth are ratio, all that kind of stuff. But yes, that was most certainly God speaking, the Holy Spirit speaking. I was just, it was a moment of knowing that I was accepted.